Good evening, everybody. Okay, let's talk for a second. So, my baby girl is a student at the Job Corps in San Francisco. We have had a series of issues that are very concerning, both as a parent, but because most of the issues are coming from the African American staff on campus, yeah, it's a problem. And I want to talk about it if we can. So if you are a student or a former student of the Job Corps in San Francisco, California, and you experience any sort of bullying, harassment, manipulation to get you expelled from the program, especially when you were close to completion, please like, please comment, please share, and sign the petition, because something has got to change. Okay, so let's start with the first issue. The first issue we had is my daughter was on campus. She had left campus for the weekend and came back, and she had, I want to say, a pretty stressful weekend. She didn't come home. She kind of was hanging out with some people. It just was not healthy. But she came back to campus and ended up having what the doctors call a pseudo seizure. She had that on campus, and the campus staff's response, not the campus doctor, and we're gonna, for just an added level of security, we're not gonna say their actual names. We're gonna call him Dr. W or Dr. VW. Let's call him Dr. VW, kind of like Volkswagen. Okay, Dr. VW's response was she had been taken off the campus by ambulance, returned back to the campus. He evaluated her and he said, I do want her to have a neurological evaluation, but she can continue with the program. Just get the results back to me. That was his response. However, campus staff is giving post-traumatic slave syndrome. Campus staff is giving bitter old lunch lady with like a mole with hair poking out, or a mustache and beard. Campus staff is saying, no, she needs to go. She needs to go and she don't need to come back. Nobody's medically qualified to make such decisions. They don't have the title, but what they do is they become so cunning that they band together and they say, hey, this is what we're going to do as a collective, because I sent her home and I want to make sure my job is secure. I sent her home because I don't feel like she needs to be here. I feel like blah, 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 blah. But the medical doctor is saying she can stay. Let's just get a neurological evaluation. And then after I make a slightly big stink about it, they all come together as a collective and say, this is what we're going to do as a collective, because we're not going to be divided in this space. We're going to be on one accord, and we're going to all agree that she needs to have a neurological evaluation, this, and this, before she can return to campus, or she can't. Well, here's what happened. I contacted Children's Hospital in Oakland, where her medical doctor was. I explained to them the situation. They wrote at least 2 to 3 letters clearing her from a neurological perspective based off of their background and their ability to write a letter and saying, hey, she's okay. We can't get an appointment for another 2 or 3 months, so on and so forth. You know, but we're going to be on this. Can you allow her back on campus? No, we can't. we're going to require, Dr. VW requires her to have, so now they're putting all of the weight on Dr. VW. I had a conversation with Dr. VW. He did not say that. He said his actual recommendation was she should be allowed to stay on campus, but we can go ahead and request a neurological evaluation for the safety of the student, as well as so that the staff could be better prepared. They disregarded that. Whoever we're going to call Miss C or Miss Flower R, or, you know, whomever the other lesser qualified employees are, they made the active decision to override the medical professional's recommendation and then get him to agree that we all agree on this as a collective. Problem. Okay, so what happens next? It takes us a couple of months, but not as long as we had anticipated. Doors open, praise God, for her to get an evaluation. What went from August ended up being like months in advance. And she got the neurological evaluation. Following the neurological evaluation, I submitted all of this, not just to the staff on campus, but also to all of the, if you go on Google, you can check who is running the staff at Treasure Island, San Francisco. And it will give you the department, it will give you the staff members that are over that department and their respective positions, and their emails and their phone numbers. Why? And that's the Department of Justice. Why? Because in cases like this, there is a system in place. Students actually have rights. They don't tell the students their rights. They don't give them enough awareness on how to function in their rights. But the students have rights in this case. And because I had, even the doctors at Children's Hospital was like, what is going on with these people? Why is this staff so hell-bent on keeping this young person out of this program? Did she offend them? Did she do something to offend them? What is going on? And my response was, that's exactly what I said. I'm like, did you upset somebody? Did you offend somebody? Why are they targeting you? What is this? Is this normal behavior? Is this what they do? At that time, I thought it was just an isolated event. Okay, and I'm thinking, okay, we just got to identify everybody. I'm going to put somebody on this. The people that are in leadership positions on the island seem to be conforming to the lesser qualified. Maybe they have tenure, maybe they've been there longer, but they don't have your role. And you're conforming to them rather than they conform to you. So they're running the show. And there's, leadership tends to impact the mindsets, the attitudes of everybody under them, including the students, right? So keep that in mind here. Long story short, what happens is I send the paperwork, I send the letter, and I send an email, and the doctor sends an email. Now, mind you, the neurologist who examined her said, that's strange. Why are they doing that? That's, you have a right to not even give them your medical records. And I'm saying, yes, she does. But because they have somehow managed to manipulate Dr. VW into walking in agreement, in alignment with this, the director is saying, this is what is going to be required, and anything beyond that, she will not be able to get in. But the doors were open. So the neurologist wrote a letter, and we still did all of the testing before she was allowed to come back to campus. Now, that's situation number one. Again, if you have attended the Job Corps in San Francisco, California, on Treasure Island, and you have had any such experience where they have bullied you or was in any sort of way targeting you or mistreated you or had any sort of favorites, where if it was people that they liked, they gave them a pass. But if it was people that they didn't like, then they railroaded them and cornered them and ended up ejecting them from the program either days before they graduated. In this particular case, my daughter is set to graduate in May and complete the program. I don't understand. Like, why do you allow us to? It's more like it's kind of giving like this is not a job opportunity program. It's like you're running an asylum / jail / youth authority camp. It doesn't feel like the goal is to actually see the young people win, complete the program, and become productive citizens. Now, I've said this before, and I said this in the email, but now I'm saying it publicly because that was issue number one. We did have a second issue similar to this, but that issue was resolved on campus, right? And as I instructed my daughter, I'm like, you need to, number one, not be reactive, calm down, consider your motives and the intent of your heart. Was it impure? Was it negative? Because if so, you need to be accountable for your actions. Absolutely. But we're also going to hold the older, more seasoned staff accountable for theirs, right? So that was situation number 2. It resolved on campus. Situation number 3 happened yesterday or the night before. So let me tell you the situation. Here's and let me give you a little bit of background. My young person is actually studying to become a medical assistant. Keep that in mind because that's important and very much so relevant. Okay, now as a medical assistant student, I'm assuming you're going to learn first aid. I'm going to assume that you're learning how to respond in case of an emergency. I'm going to assume that you're learning basic emergency response procedure. That's my assumption because I'm not there and I'm not a student there. I have taken first aid and I've taken other classes, but for the most part, we're just going to leave it there. Now, here's what happened. It's the nighttime. I'm kind of tired. I had an exhausting day. My daughter calls me frantic and offended. Like highly offended, upset, frantic. She tells me that a fellow student they were having a conversation together. And while they were having a conversation together, the student's eyes began to roll back in her head. As the student's eyes began to roll back in her head and she started to slump to the ground, she grabbed my daughter for support, grabbed her hand for support, and then she's down on the ground. My daughter is calling and telling people, hey, go get help, yada, yada, yada. There's other staff present, but those staff members are not telling my daughter, let her go, get away, blah, blah, blah. Don't mess with her, don't intervene. They're running to get help, or they're participating in trying to help the same student. That being said, other staff members arrive. And when those other staff members arrive, they're instantly, get your hands off of her, stop touching her, yada, yada, per her conversation. This is what I'm told. I wasn't a witness. She then says that while the other student was holding her hand that was dealing with the either seizure-like response or allergic react, whatever she was dealing with, whatever this child was dealing with in that moment, she's holding on to my daughter for security, for support, for help. And these people come and start to scream at my daughter, telling her to let her go while she's trying to calm her down. She's trying to make her feel supported in this moment. And the staff member grabs my daughter's arm and proceeds to get her away from the girl. My daughter responds with, you're not supposed to be putting your hands on me. Get your hands off me. all of that, it's instant. Like, this situation is already super hypersensitive and you are attacking me, and I'm here trying to help, or I'm trying to help my friend, and you are holding me hostage as if I'm a culprit in this situation, and she's having a reaction. We don't know what's wrong. Long story short, in that time, my daughter says, hey, let me go, get off me. I don't want to hurt anybody. Was she within her right to respond and to defend herself? Absolutely. Why? Because you've now violated her personal space. You put your hands on her, and you did it in an aggressive fashion, and then threatened to have her kicked out simultaneously. Why is that a thing? Why are you so comfortable doing that? What is happening here? I don't understand. Again, if you are a student here at the Treasure Island Job Corps in San Francisco, California, and you have had any sort of reaction where you're wondering, why is that your quick response? Let me threaten to kick you out. Let me put measures in place. Let me put paperwork in place. Let me grab a collective of people that we can hurry up and railroad you and blacklist you in such a way where we can get you kicked off of campus and kicked out of the program and retain our jobs. The devil is a lie. That's going to be a no-go. Why? Because you put your hands on her. That was problem number one. Now, she left the scene and called me. When she called me, she got frustrated with me because my response was, wait a minute, what's going on with the child, the young person? She's like, Mom, the ambulance took her. She's going to be okay. She had calmed down a bit, but they still took her. I got her to calm down, but these people put their hands on me and are threatening me to kick me out. And I'm going, she kept saying, it was like, I'm like, I need to know what happened with the young person. You have to tell me what happened so I can understand the whole story. She got frustrated with me, hung up. Well, then I called the school, the Job Corps center back. It's after hours. There's no number for you to call in case of emergency. That's scary. That's scary. That's very scary. Okay. She wasn't answering her phone. So I waited rather than going over to the Job Corps campus. I waited till the next morning, and she responded and let me know, because at that point she had calmed down. She let me know that the friend came back. She was okay. She was better. Everything seemed to be okay, but she wasn't sure, and she was on her way to class. And then I started to ask her who did what, specifically what happened. This is where I recall you saying what was what. And when she started telling me the names of the staff members that came out, I asked her to text me those names because I'm not getting a response. I called last night. I called this morning. I called again and left a message for the center director, who is Miss M. Right? And then I called back and I left a message for her counselor. Right? And the goal here is to say somebody needs to have a conversation with me, because why is it that every time something happens, the staff so comfortably, instantly threatens the children with expulsion and then do it? What is that? Why is that? What rights do the children have? If you were a student at the Treasure Island Job Corps in San Francisco and you experienced any sort of discrimination, any sort of bullying, any sort of blackballing by staff members based off of something when you were not in error, based off of actions that say they were wrong and you were held accountable, but they're not, please comment, please like, please share, please sign the petition, because I need to understand why this is the thing. This is not the second situation of such confusion. It's the third situation. This is the third time that a staff member has taken a situation that really could have been, I mean, my brain is like, this is why she's here. She's here to learn how to become a medical assistant. If she's assisting medically, why are you physically touching her in an aggressive way? Why are you not saying, okay, we can take over from here? Why are you not partnering with her for the betterment of that person that's dealing with the medical issue? Why are you making her a culprit and you some sort of innocent villain. That makes zero sense to me. How is this? And this is, like I said, this mindset, and the person, Miss Flower Tulip, we're gonna call her Flower Tulip. I don't know what I called her earlier, but Miss Flower Tulip was able to try to get her to sign something that said she agreed to whatever their interpretation was, and said that my daughter threatened assault or whatever against the staff. And I'm going, if you don't have a witness. Now, I've asked my daughter said, I did not threaten anybody. I said, I don't want to hurt anybody. You don't have a right to put your hands on me. Get your hands off me. She asked her that multiple times. But once a person put their physical hands on you, that is a violation of your personal space. So for you to flip a situation and try to justify it with the fact that you're going to get a whole staff to come into alignment or agreement with your lie, I'm trying to figure out, why are you guys there? Because clearly you're not here for the betterment of the child. I don't know if you had a troubled childhood. I don't know if you're dealing with instability on your in your own lives. I don't know if you have, maybe relationship issues going on, whatever bitterness you might be dealing with. But why is it that this is your resolve and you're comfortable doing it? Why are you comfortable doing this type of thing to a student? She is to graduate in May, and I declare that she's going to graduate from the Job Corps program in May. If you do not have a witness that can stand on the court stand and say with all honesty that they heard her make a threat of violence against somebody, that is defamation of character, and I do believe you will be held fully accountable for your actions. I don't know if everybody wants to be sued, and I don't know if everybody wants to lose their job, and I don't know if everybody wants to be outed, but the next video I make is going to identify every person on campus in every email that I have sent that have been a party to such actions, because I feel like it is horrible and despicable behavior of any sort of staff member to comfortably damage a child's, or a young person, because she's not a child anymore, a young person's ability to make a better life for themselves, especially if they've had a challenging history. This is a second chance program. And for some young people, a third chance program. How can you do this comfortably and maintain your stability at job? No, the devil is a lie. You're going to reap what you sow. You sow insecurity and instability into my daughter's life when she was not doing anything wrong. You will reap it in yours. Period. Dot. End the discussion. Tell me what you think in the comments.